Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 186.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch, where we just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it.
Well, it's not Monday when we're recording this, but they're watching it on Monday.
That's right, and that's what counts.
So we are currently, if you are watching this on Monday at 10 a.m., we are on the road home from Keto Palooza.
Yes, and hopefully it's a drier venture home that I think it's going to be going to Keto Palooza.
Yeah, so we are actually headed out to go to Keto Palooza, and we have to drive through Hurricane Ian to get there. But we are going. It just means we're going to probably take a couple more hours to get there.
You know, if this is what we have to do to find community and to celebrate together some precious time, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It is worth it. I would drive through a hurricane to see people that I love, and we're about to prove it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we make it.
So if you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love to celebrate community, celebrate wins, answer questions from the previous week's YouTube videos, from comments or questions that may have come up in our Facebook or Mighty Networks group. We encourage you to please comment on this video, ask questions, head on over to our Mighty Networks. There's a link down below, completely free. You can sign up at members.twocrazyketos.com. And we do this every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Normally it's live. Today, though, we are pre-recording it, but you can currently, if you're watching this at 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday, participate in the chat, because even when it's not live, the chat launches live when it launches at 10 a.m.
Now, Rachel Stauffer, if you're in here in this premiere, say hi to everybody, okay? That's
So
future Rachel.
If for some reason we're not live in there, it means that we didn't have internet at 10 a.m. But please feel free to chat amongst yourself, because that's what we're all about. We're all about community.
Yeah.
Let's start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This was an inspirational post that we find either on Facebook or Mighty Networks or somewhere else. And this week's is from Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Donna said, day 24, attitude change. Had a few days of frustration, but now I'm back to being happy. Letting go of the results. Not everything is perfect, no results, but I decided to choose happiness today. Maybe a change of attitude will help. It's got this little meme and says, being happy doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you've decided to look beyond the imperfections.
That is such a powerful thought, Donna, and I'm so glad that you shared it. I mean, we have been doing triple B and E, and I know that Donna has as well, for the last 30 days. And you know what? I don't know what the end results will be for us because of so much travel and so much, not like increase in stress, but a change in stress, a different type of stress. We've got storm stress, and our daughter is pregnant stress, and travel stress that we didn't have the last time that we did triple B and E. And I don't know that that will affect the results, good or bad, but I know that for the last 30 days, we've eaten good, nutritious food.
Right.
You know, and so I'm going to have a good attitude and think about that. Think about the nourishment that I've been nourishing my body with, whether or not I see some dramatic result on the scale.
Yeah, for me, I don't know what the scale's going to show. Unfortunately, we didn't do measurements because we were so busy at the beginning. My clothes really don't feel any different, but it's weird. One day, my clothes feel like, oh my gosh, they're super loose.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I'm like stretching my t-shirts going, did you shrink this or am I gaining weight? Then I saw myself in a video when I was editing, and I'm like, I look like I've never been on keto ever. But then I see another video from like the same day or maybe even the next day, and I'm like, damn, I look good.
So I wonder if we aren't looking through the lens of whatever is stressing us. Because I
Right.
feel like I've looked at myself the same way.
Right.
I feel like over the last 30 days,
I'm telling you, you look good.
but some days I'm like, okay, good job, Rachel. And some days I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So I think that a change in attitude for all of us is a very powerful thing.
And it doesn't help that in these 30 days, we are traveling for 12 of the 30 days. And that traveling includes almost 30 hours of driving each round trip. So
Yeah.
almost 50 to 60 hours driving in a car, right? Because we went up to Tennessee. That was 13 hours, then 13 hours home. Now we're doing another one to Ketopalooza just 8 days after the other one. That affects you. That time in the car, all of that stress, the stress, like you said, of a hurricane. But I can't even imagine where I would be if I didn't do beef, butter, bacon,
There you
egg, or if I was
go.
going off the rails on a trip, like, you know, many times we have in the past, where like, hey, it's going to be eat as much as we want, not non-keto foods, but just a lot of keto food.
Oh, I mean, definitely. When I think about vacation time in the past, I would take the entire summer off of responsible eating at all. Right. And that's what it looked like on the standard American diet of what was responsible eating.
Right.
That's how you get into the holidays.
Right.
And you think, okay, well, I'm just going to take off, 3 months before New Year and then like get started thinking about what I'm eating in January. And it's like, wow, you can do a tremendous amount of damage. So I'm really glad that in this time, even in these 30 days of lots of travel, that we were actually doing triple B and E, because it gave us a natural fence for the month.
Mm-hmm. So I, for me, to sum it up, I won't be shocked if I get on the scale and I haven't lost a pound. But on the same time, I will be shocked if I've gained.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gained.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if I just have maintained. Speaking of the holidays.
Yes.
When everybody is seeing this, we're in a new month.
We are.
What is the challenge for the month of October?
So here's the thing. We're talking about how we view ourselves. We're talking about, our thoughts about ourselves. We're doing a trick or treat challenge this month. And it's about our thoughts. When we're speaking to each other, or ourselves rather, are we tricking ourselves or treating ourselves with that thought? And I think that it is important for us to take thoughts captive, how we're talking to ourselves. When I look in that mirror and I say, Rachel, I think today you look blank. Is it a treat thought? Or is it a trick thought?
I like that. So, in other words, the challenge this month is not a food challenge.
No.
It is a mindfulness challenge.
It is.
It's a mental challenge. It's about getting through the mental aspects of keto.
Yeah. Because is this going to treat me to a good day? What I say to myself, the thoughts that I'm thinking about myself, is it going to treat me or is it going to trick me into doing something I shouldn't do? Right? If I get on that scale in October, is my view of that scale, is that going to give me a thought that's like, this is a treat, like feel good about yourself? Or is this going to be like, man, nothing I do ever works. I might as well give up altogether. That is a very tricking thought.
This sounds like another Rachel journaling thing.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. This is the time
I don't like to journal.
But we uncover a lot of stuff.
You're right.
When we kind of put our thoughts down, where we can take a look at them and do something with them.
Okay, let's move on to our subscriber of the week. These are some inspirational stories, success stories that we found on Facebook or Mighty Networks. We ask you all the time, please share your story. Your story is so important. Your story is going to inspire someone. It's going to tell someone, hey, they are not alone. It's one of the reasons why on our podcast, we actually came up with a series called The Keto Audit, where we can bring people on who may be struggling with somebody, subscribers, and like, what are you struggling with? And maybe we can help you get through that because you're not the only person struggling with it. So it's
Not at
really
all.
important. Share your story because you're going to inspire people. It also helps you to remember where you came from. So
Yeah.
head over to our Mighty Networks group. Again, members.2crazyketos.com, or to our Facebook family group. Link is down below, and share your story. And the first one we actually have is from Brandy.
Hey, Brandy.
Brandy said, I've been on keto for a little over a year and I am loving my health now. I've suffered from headaches and severe acid reflux and terrible stomach stress for most of my life. The weight loss is a great side effect.
Yes, Brandy.
But the improved health is worth more than the riches in the world.
Oh, Brandy, I stinking love your shirt. Coffee and butter and bacon. You look incredible, but you gotta know, I love the fact that you noted the weight loss was a side effect.
Yeah.
That is very powerful.
I have to say something here because you noted that shirt and I'm noting the other shirt from her pre-weight loss because that's how I always felt. Look back at this picture. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that how you justified your weight loss, Tia?
Yeah.
You didn't really feel good, but it somehow and I said weight loss, but I meant like your weight overall. Like you had to convince yourself I'm okay. We really weren't okay. And it's like, I just love that shirt because you've transformed from a shirt. And I don't know if you felt that way, but I know that's how I felt. You've transformed from a shirt convincing yourself to everything is fine to actually having everything is really fine.
Yeah, it's good. That's awesome.
Next one we have is from Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Karen said, my first triple B&E challenge, 8:29 to 9:23, 32 days. Measurements, bust minus 70, 3/4 of an inch, under bust minus 0.3 inches, waist minus 1.5 inches, hips minus 1/2 an inch. Thighs, no change. Arms down 1/2 an inch. Total inches lost, 4.05.
Wow.
Starting weight, 183.3. Ending weight, 177.9, down 6.4 pounds. No huge changes. What are you talking about?
That's
no huge
pretty
changes.
incredible.
But still slight changes noticed. I am, however, happy about the scale number, only because I usually notice better results in my measurements over the scale. What I've learned, I was a cheeseaholic. I believe I've broken that habit. 2 daily feasts eliminated all snacking and thoughts of desserts.
Wow.
Feasting does mentally and physically remove thinking of food and does not cause weight gain. I drank much less water without flavored electrolytes. And BBB&E was an enlightening experience. Take a look at this.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Karen.
Look
wow.
at, she doesn't notice a difference. I notice a difference.
I was going to say, where you lost the inches really is where you would want to lose the inches. A lot of times I'll come back and lose inches in my neck. I don't just need more in my neck. Look,
or in the one place that nobody wants to lose inches, right?
Right,
nobody wants to lose inches in the chest region.
But I mean, you look fantastic all the way around. And as far as no huge changes,
wow,
huge changes in your addiction to cheese, your ability to eliminate so much sweetened electrolytes, you know, like throughout your day. You were able to say like, okay, when am I actually thirsty? And when am I just wanting sweetness in my mouth? I think that is a huge forward momentum in you understanding you. Yeah. That's a big change.
Yeah. I mean, if I never lost any weight on beef, butter, bacon, and egg, but I never had to count again.
Yeah.
Win.
Super win.
We haven't had to measure or track or weigh anything except for if we were doing a challenge over the last year. And we're the same as we were a year ago and eating ridiculous amounts of food. I mean, you guys see how much food. Some people note how much food we eat.
Yeah.
And yet, same weight as we were at the end of beef, butter, bacon, egg. And I really attribute that to getting in touch with satiety. I think it's one of the greatest benefits. Yes, you get healing properties and lower your A1C and all of that stuff with beef, butter, bacon, and egg and find foods that you may be causing problems with. But to me, the satiety thing is the number one reason to do beef, butter, bacon, and egg, and
Look,
not count.
It's interesting to invest 30 days into something and get this much feedback, this much knowledge about yourself, to get to know yourself that much in 30 days. That's a very short amount of time to discover some answers to things that I haven't been able to figure out for a lifetime about myself.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a quick fade to black and come back with a commercial.
Do you know what you're going to be this month on Halloween? What you going to dress up like? Joe doesn't even know.
I do know.
It's on the horizon for him.
Dressing just like this.
It's happening. Last year, we were Raggedy Ann and Andy. Yeah. Year before that, it was Tiger King and Carol Baskin. What's this year?
We're traveling.
What do you think we should be this year on October 31st? Leave a comment down below. What do you think would be the best couple costume for this couple?
A couple.
A couple of crazies?
Let's get into the comments from YouTube last week. First one is from Brianna.
Hey, Brianna.
She said, I know people joke about getting new friends when keto, but honestly, if your friends aren't supportive, are they really your friends?
Yeah.
I went to a birthday party last week and my friend made sure there was food that I could eat. She cares about me as a friend and wants me to enjoy myself without stressing about what I can eat.
Wow, Brianna, that is so important. And you know what? I am a big proponent of doing a friend inventory every once in a while, because you need to think about the people in your life almost like a bullseye. So you have like the middle, that's the target, right? That would be the people that should have most access to you and influence in your life. And every circle that leads away from that, that's, putting some distance. So I'm not saying that if you've had a lifelong friend and you've been friends with this person for, decades, that you should just cut all relationship.
Just put them to the outer part of the circle.
But maybe it's time to move somebody out of your circle, the most access and most influence in your life, if they're not going to be like Brianna's friend that is demonstrating a care for you. And
that, I'm sorry to say, can and should include family.
Yeah.
If you have family members that are you don't want to just cut them off. Just move them to the outside. Don't let them have as much influence. If you're struggling, you may not want to go to the friend or family member and it's going, and when you're struggling, right? That's where you're going to turn to our Facebook family group or to our Mighty Networks or to some other people like Brianna's friend who will speak positivity into your life.
Exactly.
Next one we have is from TheSulayne.
Hey, I also meant to ask, how much of the butter did you use when you do your shake? I couldn't figure that out even with the information from the company. Here we go. So I sure would appreciate that. Love you. Bye.
So I believe they're talking about
Keto Chow?
Keto Chow. They'd also asked a question about butter and stuff. And we generally, our coffee is either black, which not black, or a tablespoon of butter or an egg yolk or butter and an egg yolk. That's generally what's in our coffee. Sometimes we'll put in like scoops of protein powder or Keto Chow or MCT powder if we're not doing beef, butter, bacon, egg. But that's when it's in it right now. As far as Keto Chow, generally all of our shakes have 3 to 5 tablespoons of melted butter. We tend to not use heavy whipping cream because it bloats me. But sometimes we do. We'll use it for ice cream more than anything. For some reason, freezing it doesn't affect us as much as just drinking it. A lot of people like to put a very minimal amount of fat into Keto Chow. I look at it as it's supposed to be a meal, and you really want to be having at least 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein with everything you have. So, and then elevating fat from there. As it's supposed to be a meal, if you're only putting like, for example, a tablespoon of butter in there, like 10 grams of fat, that's only like a 225 calorie meal.
Yeah.
And it's not enough. And that, again, it comes the problem is people like to count calories. We were calorie counters. Counting calories doesn't work. And it results in us under eating. So I am the firm belief that everybody should have a minimum of 3 tablespoons of butter. But the cool thing is you can increase it from there. You need fat. A lot of times now we're starting to demonize fat, going, I have fat on my body, which I do have fat on my body. And so there's no reason to add fat, but that's not how our body works. It takes fat to lose fat, which
Yeah.
sounds funny, but it is. So that's us, 3 to 5 tablespoons. Usually Rachel is 3, I'm 4 or 5, and we don't weigh or measure any of it. We just kind of like cut it in half, dump it in there, what it is, and it is. Next one is from Jody Lynn.
Hey, Jody Lynn, does Element Electrolyte have carbs? Does Keto Chow Electrolyte Drops have carbs?
Keto Chow Electrolyte Drops do not have any carbs. They are not flavorless. A lot of people think they're flavorless.
They're salty.
They have a flavor. They have a salt and mineral flavor.
Yes.
But they are not flavorless. They have no flavor added. Element electrolytes do have carbs. Depending on the flavor, it's 1 to 2. I'm always going to tell you to round up. So figure 1, 2. If it says 2, you may even want to round it up to 3. With that being said, since we generally have our carbs very low, usually around 10 to 15 total carbs, I never really worry about it. But I also wouldn't drink 5 or 6 of them in a day, because again, it could impact you. Our suggestion is usually if you're going to have a couple of them, have some of them with a meal that will help you out a little bit, because when you have carbohydrates with a meal, it helps your body not get affected as much with them. Next one is from TJ.
Hey, TJ. We keep talking about our ancestors and what they ate, but why isn't anyone talking about how young everyone died?
Good question.
I'm not trying to disagree about potential benefits of a low-carb diet, but how about we talk about early death? That's very interesting.
This is a great question.
Yeah.
And I have a great answer.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing we have to look at is ancestrally, like back before the Bronze Age and stuff.
All right.
One of the biggest causes of death, and it's why the average lifespan of someone is actually very low back then, was there was a very high rate of infant mortality.
That's true. We didn't have medical intervention.
We didn't have medicine back then
Yeah.
to take care of babies. So there was an extremely high rate of infant mortality. You can even think about baby sea turtles, what's the percentage of them that actually survive? They have to get that off of the beach. It was the same thing with babies back then.
Yeah.
But the average lifespan was still like over 35 to 50. But then you had the infant mortality that said if you take that out, there's evidence that people were living into their hundreds even back then.
Wow.
So the average age really has not changed much from now. Modern medicine has helped.
Certainly.
But the major cause of death and what killed most people ancestrally was predators. And even you can, again, look at the American Indians.
Yes.
Predators.
Okay.
Infection from things like minor abrasions,
Again,
right? They cut themselves.
Medicine.
There's no medicine to help with the infection. So the infection many times would kill them. Let's go back to Castaway. Right?
Right.
He got that toothache.
If he
and to pull it out, that infection,
if he had been home,
it could have killed him.
Right.
Right? And then the other major cause of death was actually environment.
Oh, because they were much more vulnerable to the elements.
Right.
I mean, you think about what homes look like. I mean, there's no windows. I mean, trying to, keep out the cold of winter, trying to keep out like you said, the predators, throughout the year, you were much more vulnerable to your environments, then than you are now.
Now, here is the really cool part. Okay. Because again, we're talking about eat ancestrally, eat like Native Americans, eat like, Inuit Eskimos, right? That's how they live. They eat ancestrally.
Right.
They don't have a lot of that modern medicine, or they didn't have like the American Indians way back before Little House on the Prairie. They didn't have modern medicine.
They didn't have smoothies?
No.
You're saying there was no Jamba Juice?
Here's the cool thing.
Okay.
After the invention of modern civilization, where people started coming together and farming, the average lifespan went down.
Ooh.
And I mean went down to, they're saying like 18 to 20 years old. Now, you still had infant mortality, but you know what was killing them when you got into modern civilization? Infectious diseases, because now all of a sudden you're bringing everybody together. So you're getting all of these modern day diseases.
Yeah.
That is scarlet fever, all that kind of stuff, killing people constantly. Warfare was another major cause of death after modern civilization. And inferior nutrition was the other thing that really lowered the lifespan, because now all of a sudden you've got civilization. Now they start farming, growing wheat, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and nutrition went down. If you look at the ancient Egyptians,
Oh my gracious.
as they've they've opened up different mummies and stuff, they found
x-rayed them.
Horrible nutrition. They were
Tooth
eating
decay,
bread. And you know what?
Cancer.
One of the cool things with the tooth decay, you know what it was?
What?
Like the slaves of Egypt, their major source of nutrition was bread.
Mm-hmm.
But what was really wearing down their teeth as well was all the bread had sand in it because of the element. So it was grinding away their teeth. But they had horrible nutrition because they weren't eating as ancestors were, where they were eating meat and being hunter-gatherers and stuff.
I was watching a recent documentary and it was talking about even, the pharaohs who you're going to be like, if anybody's getting the good food, it's them. But they were also eating a very heavy grain-based diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, that sort of thing, because, they deified a lot of different animals too. So that was a challenge for them to, even eat them. But you see them dying very young because, again, they're able to scan them and see them. And it's like, wow, this guy is very young. It's not like they were living to be a ripe old age.
Right. So when you look at modern day people, let's talk about what's causing the diseases.
Yeah.
What's causing the diseases, and even doctors say this, right? And experts say environment and our food. What are we eating? The bottom line is what's causing all the diabetes? Eating extra sugar, eating 20 times a day. The only reason we live is because of modern medicine. But what if we can't eliminate all of the environmental issues, but what if we can, narrow it down and not have as many environmental issues, and we improve our nutrition? Maybe we don't necessarily need all of the modern medicine.
Right. Maybe we won't need as much medical intervention if we will take care of our nutrition and our movement ourselves.
Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question, but it's not necessarily that we live longer. It's what was killing them compared to what kills us.
Yeah.
Most of us now, there's not too many people who die of old age. It's usually from disease and stuff, which is caused by environment and nutrition. Okay, next one is from Loretta.
Hey, Loretta.
Loretta said, let me start by saying I'm new here. I absolutely love Rachel and Joe.
Welcome.
I missed the live. However, watching the replay, I do believe I heard Joe say that I'm not getting enough fat. Could be the reason my hair is falling out. That is the question I had. I've been doing keto for about a year. I came across Two Crazy Ketos about a week before y'all started Triple B&E in September. I also started doing it with y'all. In the past week, I've noticed my hair is falling out by the handfuls. Please help.
Oh, Loretta, I'm sorry. I know that it can be very distressing. Definitely that's something that I've experienced as well. First of all, I want to say when you start anything new, I feel like your body just freaks out first.
It does.
Because it's new.
Yeah, that is some of it. Now, I do want to say we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but here is what I have learned, what I've studied, what I've heard from people who are actually doctors, nurses, and health professionals, and that is, like Rachel said, whenever we try a new eating lifestyle, sometimes that affects our body, sometimes our hair falls out, but one of the primary causes that I have found is just the lack of nutrition. A lot of people think it's just protein. Protein is a huge part of it. It is a building block in our body, but you also need nutrients and vitamins and fat.
Yeah.
So if we're eating extremely high protein, but we're not taking in any fat, now your body's not getting enough fuel and it starts slowing things down. And that could be one of the things that starts slowing down, just working on hair growth and stuff. But also some of the vitamins and nutrients, they need to have fat to be absorbed into your body. So we need to make sure we're doing enough fat. We need to make sure we're consuming enough protein. Also, a lot of vitamins and nutrients. One of the best ways to do that is by eating good, fatty, ruminant meat. When you're not on beef, butter, bacon, egg, eating good, fatty fish. All of that stuff is going to give you all the vitamins and nutrients. You can get every vitamin and nutrient you need by eating things like beef liver, regular beef or ruminant animals, and salmon roe. That'll give you more vitamins and nutrients than any vegetable out there. And vitamin D, go out in the sun. That's what you need to do. Just go out in the sun. Nothing is going to give you more vitamin D than going out in the sun.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it. So It could be that. So I would just say make sure you're eating enough fatty meat. Make sure, like, don't go into this with calorie restricting. That is one of the things that causes like the hair loss is when we start restricting the amount of fuel we're eating. You see it in a lot of like gastric bypass patients and stuff where they're taking in so little food, it leads to nutrient deficiency and all of their hair falls out.
Peekaboo. I see you.
Okay, next one is from Susie.
Hey, Susie, I have a dumb question. No, you don't, Susie. This is going to be an awesome question. Are duck eggs okay on keto? My brain says yes, but I am still learning, so I want to be sure.
Yes. All eggs are good on keto. Eggs bring life. Actually, duck eggs are healthier for you than even regular chicken eggs because they're fattier.
They're hard to find, though.
Now, if you can find ostrich eggs, you're going to pay like $12 an egg, but those are really good too.
Huge egg, though.
Quail eggs, really, really good. You just need about 3 dozen of them to fill yourself up. But yeah, all eggs are going to be good on keto. Duck eggs, if you can find them, one of the healthiest eggs you're going to be able to eat.
Yeah.
Next one is from James.
Hey, James.
James said, I've been keto for about 3 to 4 months now. I had inflammation in my joints so bad that I was in pain every day. I was told I was considered obese because of my weight. I've lost over 20 pounds in the time I've been keto. I'm doing the triple B&E right now because I wanted to figure out what I'm allergic to because my neck has been on 3 different occasions turning red, burns, and itches. Well, it's doing it now during the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I've never joined a group until Dr. Berry and you guys. I've done keto pretty much solo. I know I feel better, but I still feel like I'm doing something wrong. Is this keto rash? If so, what should I do? What minerals and things should I be taking each day? Because sometimes I do feel sluggish. No more pain and from inflammation. I also have real bad indigestion at bedtime when I lie down.
Wow, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah, so without seeing it, it's hard to tell. And again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. It could be oxalate dumping. Sometimes it just takes a little while for that to go away. And as Dr. Berry and Dr. Boz have both stated, it's something you have to just work through.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just from spices. I don't know what spices you're using. I know that recently somebody, even on our Facebook group, they just used a little bit of a spice they've never used before. And it was only a little bit, but it caused them to break out. So those are things you need to look at. If you're getting it on beef, butter, bacon, and egg, and if you're using any spices, you might want to even consider cutting back to just having beef, salt, and water.
Yeah.
Seeing if that clears it up and then add one more time. You could possibly have a reaction to the egg whites. A lot of times people who have egg allergies, they're allergic to the whites and not the yolks. So, but you might want to even try cutting back to only beef, salt, and water for a little while. It's also known as the lion diet. Do that for a week or so and see if it clears up. Vitamins and minerals, the biggest thing, vitamins, you get it from your meat. Minerals, our suggestion is you use the Keto Chow Daily Mineral Drops that were designed by Dr. Berry, and that'll pretty much give you everything you need. Sluggish, make sure you're eating enough fat and getting enough salt. But
yeah,
it's
electrolytes.
Great. You have no pain from inflammation.
That's
and
awesome.
That is a positive, right? Indigestion at night, eat earlier.
Yeah.
Don't lay down at night right after eating. Next one is from Leah.
Hey, Leanne. This is a small update about me. Over the summer, I've been up and down with my eating. Standard American diet, keto, ketovore, and carnivore, depending on the day. Well, September 13th, I gave myself a talking to and put my foot down. Today, I'm happy to report I'm 11 days strong with no cheats, doing the proper human diet and triple B&E. I'm gearing up to face the trifecta of Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas carb-enticing season to come. I'm not going to once again see New Year's and think, why, Leanne, why? Was all those just one or just this time? Was it really worth it? My answer is no, no, and no. So my extended 2KK PhD family, there's what's been happening with me. Thanks so much for sharing that, Leanne. And I think that it's very good for you to put something like that out there and hold yourself accountable. Sometimes sharing it in community means that we're going to expect another update. we're going to expect updates throughout the burrs. Somebody recently shared with me that, oh my goodness, we're heading into the burrs. September, October, November, December. And it's like, ooh, we're like scared and cold about it, right? Like we've got an uneasy feeling about the holidays. And that is not what the holidays should be about. We should be enjoying our family and our friends and celebrating some fun times during the holidays. But you know what? Friends and family have nothing to do with food. Right? So I'm not going to like eat on Joe's shoulder, right? I'm going to have experiences with Joe, conversations with Joe, adventures with Joe. That is what is the most important thing about the holidays. So I can decide, hey, what I'm going to be fueling myself with during the holidays, it's going to look like this keto or ketovore or carnivore lifestyle, whatever it is, that you're doing for your keto journey. And I'm going to enjoy the holidays.
I love that. Next one is from Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Just a word of encouragement to those who are frustrated with a slow-moving scale. Please do not say, I've only lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, etc. You wouldn't say, I only gained 5 pounds, 10 pounds, etc. All loss is progress.
That is such an important reminder. And man, sometimes I really trick myself. I don't treat myself to a thought. I trick myself into saying, these last 10 pounds, I am so mad I haven't lost any weight this week. Well, I've already lost more than 115 pounds. So guess what? Whatever I lose on top of that is like extra. I need to bring that in. Sometimes I'm only focused on the 10 pounds, not like the 100 that's gone. How about I'm losing 100 plus whatever? But again, it's like how you think. I'm only focused on it's only 5 pounds this week that I've lost. What? Well, that's an amazing success, right? That's incredible.
Next one is from Stina.
Hey, Stina.
Said, why do I get so chilled when fasting?
Great question.
This is another really, really good question, and it is something that's always happened with us. When we do an extended fast, anything more than 24 hours,
freezing.
We get freezing cold, which I love because then I don't have to turn on the air conditioner as much.
This is true.
And also around hour 24, we get ridiculous energy and can't go to sleep. So when you go on an extended fast, the reason you get cold is actually a couple of reasons. Number one, because your blood is centralized to your body's fat stores so that you can actually start burning it. And that promotes the adipose tissue blood flow. That allows your muscles so that your body has the energy to get, what it needs during a fast. Also, when you're not fasting, your digestive system isn't doing as much. And when you are digesting food, that creates internal heat, and now you're not doing that. So since you don't have that internal heat, that can help to actually cool you down as well. Also, as your blood sugar drops down, that will actually result in you being a little chilled. It's not a big deal, but it is kind of a weird thing to start experiencing, but that's why. So it's just because you're not eating, your body is focusing on other things to get stuff moving, Joe, and you don't notice it.
You really like when I do an extended fast because I get much more snuggly. It's like I'm like on top of you for body heat.
Yeah. Next one's from Gail.
Hey, Gail. I'm on Triple B and E, going well, pants bigger, but I'm always full on an 8-hour window. I need to eat more. Should I just get more than comfortably stuffed twice a day? Just make myself eat more often during the 8 hours?
Okay, so you're having results, you're losing weight. If you don't think you're eating enough, extend your 8-hour eating window or eat 3 meals in a day. I don't want you to eat more than comfortably stuffed because now we're going against what we're trying to do, which is learn satiation. You've gotten to comfortably stuffed. If you feel like if at the end of the day, you're like, well, I ate like 4 eggs and 2 slices of bacon and a quarter-pound burger and I'm done now. You're probably not eating enough food. But some of that just comes because we've taught ourselves that is what we're supposed to eat. So now we mentally are telling ourselves we're full even though we're not. So that's why we tell people when you first start Triple B and E, do what Dr. Berry first told us, as much as you want, as many times a day as you want, but every time you eat till you're full. If that means eat 3 or 4 meals over a 10 to 12 hour eating period, then do that. And then as you've learned that satiation, you'll start working on, okay, now I know what is actually full, and then you can like start limiting in that window. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Next one is from another Gail.
Hey, Gail.
Gail said, no matter what I do, I cannot seem to get a 1-to-1 ratio of protein to fat. I always get way too much protein. I'm mostly carnivore. I eat mainly triple B&E with some sort of green a few times a week. Since I'm still overweight, I hesitate in adding more fat to what I'm getting from my food. Is it really important to have a 1-to-1? Yes. Yes and no. It depends on how much you're eating and what are you doing. If you are a bodybuilder, if you look like Bronson Dant, then you can probably eat a really high amount of protein with an average amount of fat. But if you're just like us, if you're like most normal people, you want to eat at least 1-to-1 because you need to give your body fuel. Again, we talked about this with last week's Keto on the Couch. We've begun demonizing fat again. Your body needs fat to burn fat. We talked about it last week with the well, right? Where you have a well, if you put a pump in there, you have to prime that pump by adding water in. It's the same thing with fat. So it's not that difficult to get 1-to-1
No, I was just thinking butter.
So
just had a little spoonful of butter.
First of all, eating the proper foods. Are you eating super lean meats? Are you eating things like chicken breast? If you are, throw it out. Okay, don't buy chicken breast. Chicken breast, I know you love chicken breast.
I love chicken breast.
If you're going to eat chicken breast,
eat our chicken nuggets.
You need to be adding a lot of fat into it. You need to have a lot of fat. But chicken breast is not nearly as good for you as the chicken thighs, the dark meat. But even there, it's still not as fatty. You want to be eating things like ribeye, prime rib. You can eat like lamb. Lamb has got lots of fat in it. Eggs, especially the egg yolks. So you can eat like 3 eggs and then 4 egg yolks, or 2 eggs and 3 egg yolks. Or you can throw out the whites altogether if you want. Add butter, lard, ghee, tallow to all of your food. Bacon is 1-to-1. So if you're eating a leaner meat, like maybe, for example, like a New York strip or a sirloin, make sure you're putting lots of fat on there. Sometimes we'll just eat a half a stick of butter. Like we'll literally chop it up.
Right.
And because I don't want to waste it on my plate, I'll like literally put it into tablespoons, salt it, and eat it that way. We're not saying go crazy with fat, but there's no reason that you can't just add a little bit more fat. Just adding 2 or 3 more tablespoons of butter, put it in your coffee, different things like that will really, really help you out to get the fat up. We eat closer to probably 2 grams of fat to 1 gram of protein. But unless you're eating like gobs and gobs and gobs, I mean like 4 times the amount of fat to protein, you should not be gaining weight unless you are doing some other things like eating multiple times a day or eating lots of keto snacks and things where you're taking in way too much fuel.
Yeah.
Next one is from Becky.
Hey, Becky. Hey, guys. In my quest to finally get my A1C down and my dawn phenomenon to stop going to 200 every day, I am incorporating more extended fasting. I've noticed that once the fast is over, it is a fight to keep from overeating and binging keto foods, but I want to eat it all. Is this common, and do I just need a refeed, or is it just proof that I still have some food issues I thought I had gotten through?
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
And we'd almost need to talk to you to know whether it is a refeed or if it's food issues. First of all, we need the dawn phenomenon. Dr. Berry talked about this at the Proper Human Diet Summit. Everybody experiences the dawn phenomenon. Everybody. It's not just a diabetic issue. So that's first of all. You need it and you want it. Okay, so that's first of all. The problem is sometimes fasting actually causes our glucose to go up because what'll happen is your body needs to create energy for itself and it needs glucose, so it will create that glucose. I've experienced like 130, 140 glucose on a 72-hour fast, but when I'm eating every day, my glucose is never more than 70 or 80. So that's one thing that you need to look at, is that you don't necessarily want to get rid of your dawn phenomenon. More so, you want to look at what are you eating that's causing your glucose to be up at 200. Are you eating enough fat at night? Because again, if you're not eating enough fat, that can cause an elevated glucose. It's not about cutting down the protein as much as it is increasing sugar. Are you eating a whole bunch of keto snacks, right? Are you following net carbs? All of that can cause a higher glucose in there. But as far as if you're doing an extended fast, like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, it would be completely normal to need a refeed. That's how our body's designed. Fast and feast. Again, go back to the Native Americans, the American Indians. They would fast when they couldn't find buffalo or other prey, but then when they found it, they ate till there was nothing left.
Yeah. Well, I also think that it's important that if you are thinking to yourself, what I'm doing right now, my keto right now has a priority one of health. What you're saying is, I want health results, not just weight loss. I want health. That's my priority. Because remember, you can only have one priority. A lot of times we want to say, like, I have a lot of priorities, but
only one.
You have one. So if health is your primary concern, then what you refeed yourself and how often you refeed yourself, during the days when you are eating, you're going to want to be very focused on nutrient density. You're going to be very specific in your food choices. So it won't be a matter of, I'm going to do a 36-hour or 48-hour fast. And when I come off of that, it's going to be a whole bunch of like keto treats. And I'm going to use, a lot of different packaged food. It's going to be, I am fasting, and when I am not, I am prioritizing ruminant animals. I'm going to get some good fats in. I'm going to be really looking at whole foods, and I'm going to be eating to certain, vitamins and nutrients. That's going to be a very different push for health than you may be for weight loss.
Right. And here's the thing. So this is one of the problems when it comes to extended fasting, especially things like alternate day fasting or OMAD. A lot of times we don't get enough food in, which ends up resulting in a slower metabolism. So when you look at something like extended alternate day fasting, if you're alternate day fasting, that would be where you eat today, you don't eat tomorrow, and then you eat the next day. You have to look at the end of the week, your body still looks at the average amount of food that you took in. Okay, so if you're eating and not eating and then eating again, on your eating day, you're eating a lot. You're eating 2 days worth of food.
Right.
So if you're doing, let's say, a 72-hour fast, and you're going to do, say, that 72-hour fast and then eat for a day and then go back to another 72-hour fast, you should be eating a ridiculous amount of food in that day that you are eating, because you're going to go back into not eating. Otherwise, what happens is your body will slow down the metabolism if you're eating it that way. Now, if you do just one long fast and then you go a long time where you are eating, that's a different circumstance. But what happens is when we're doing these alternate day or every 48-hour fasts, we need to make sure on the feast day, we are feasting on good, like you said, nutrient-dense foods.
But even when we are eating, we want to move it out of like a grazing stance to sitting down and eating until we are full for each meal. So when you're like, I'm binging, make sure that you're not eating a bunch of food like all throughout the day. Like I'm eating and then I'm like eating more and eating more. Like sit down and get completely full in that meal.
Yeah. Next one is from Sheila.
Hey, Sheila.
My body is so weird. Fasted since 5 p.m. or so yesterday. Blood glucose 117 at bedtime, 158 this morning at 8:30. That's completely normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 2 hours of yard work. Now it's 187. Again, completely normal. I know my body generated the glucose to do the hard work, but that is crazy high. Keep fasting until it's back to normal, or meal, or ribeye, and ribeye trimming cooked to crunchy treats. It is completely normal if your glucose goes up in the morning. It's supposed to, again, dawn phenomenon. And then if it goes up when you do yard work and you're still fasted, completely normal. Just go ahead and eat some good fatty meat. Next one is from Serena.
Hey, Serena, I have to be an abstainer. I cannot moderate. I can't have one Coke Zero. I have to have 12. Not even an exaggeration. This is so important to know about yourself. So she has this meme that says abstainer versus a moderator. Abstainers find it easier to give something up entirely than doing it in moderation. If abstainers try to do things in moderation, they waste a lot of energy justifying why they should or shouldn't indulge. With abstainers, giving them any small allotment of carbs causes the mental battles and energy for decision making to start. On the other side, moderators get anxious at the thought of never having or doing something again. If moderators try to abstain, they feel trapped and rebellious. Moderators do better with knowing there's a little bit of carbs they can consume and are able to portion control. They struggle to stay compliant if the situations call for complete abstinence.
So me, I want to be a moderator. However, I need to be an abstainer.
I think that that is true about me as well. I want to, never have any reins put on me. Like, don't say never to me. I think that there will one day be a time when I can adult hard enough to be able to rationalize with certain things. But the truth is, I need to be an abstainer. It doesn't mean, abstinence in every realm of my life, but in trouble areas, I need to be particularly careful. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That
Right.
just means that I've learned this about myself. And if I move forward and take actions with this information about myself, I'll be a lot happier.
Yeah. People, again, we've talked about this before. People ask, well, how come you've never had bread? You mean you really have never gone off of keto? And I know people don't believe that, but no, we have never gone off of keto. We have never intentionally had a sugary dessert. We've never had bread other than doing communion for church. The reason is I have told myself I need to be an abstainer because there's certain foods that are going to trigger me. And I really believe that if I ate that bread, I know if I ate, for example, that bread, that I would immediately get back into ketosis. But I don't know if mentally I could eat that bread and go back to not eating that bread. So I look at it as an addiction and that I have to just completely abstain for it. So I'm not abstaining for physical reasons. I'm abstaining for mental reasons. And, Chris has talked about this, and I think it's a great saying. For me, one is not enough, and 10 is going to be way too many of them.
Well, for me, keto has done some amazing things for my mental health. And my mental health is very valuable to me. I do not want to take any chances. I don't want to gamble with my mental health. I think that it is a gift to be off of medication and to feel confident and happy and joyful in my body. I enjoy being able to do the things that I can do now that I'm out of that the fog of mental instability, really, just never being secure in my life. So you know what? I'm okay that I'm abstaining for a very important reason. I feel good about it. Like if someone else is like, really, you have to be like that? I'm, going to do it completely differently. I'm good at moderation. Well, God bless. That is awesome. But you know what? For me, I know that that is not the case for me, and I'm not willing to gamble with my future.
Now, that is going to be the end of this week's Keto Beyond the Couch. Next week, we will be back live for Keto Beyond the Couch. But before that, we'll actually be back live with our normal Thursday night live stream this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are in our beef, butter, bacon, and egg course, tonight at 6 p.m., we will have our weekly check-in. If you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at our most recent video that I'm going to put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time.
Bye.